Hi folks, this is Karim Raouf from IT Visualizer channel. Today we will continue our lab, the transformers. This is the video number 22. In the previous lab we have already discussed how to use the Squid proxy and the SquidGuard to filter and cache the traffic from the clients. We have already used some basic web filter block policies. For example, we used first the Squid proxy to block some websites like Facebook and Twitter and etc. And then when we install the SquidGuard, we have more advanced features to block, to have some more advanced feature than web filtering. For example, like blocking, like making a blacklist and block some websites. For example, in the Squid proxy we can block one or two websites, but in the SquidGuard we can block a bunch of websites by creating a blacklist and put all the sites we need to block in one list, and then we begin blocking it on users. Then we have another feature in the SquidGuard, which is block by category. We can block a lot of websites by predefined categories. For example, if I need to block the porn, there is a feature called blacklist category. We go to a website and download the blacklist, and then we will have the feature for blocking a whole category type. For example, if we need to block porn, block alcohol, block news, we have this feature in the SquidGuard, but we need first to download a blacklist from a website. Then we will activate the blacklist option. So after that we will see that in any if we create a new list, we will see that there is a lot of categories with a lot of websites types. Like example is, if you have like porn or alcohol, you can block by category. For more features, please refer to my previous video to see how from my previous videos from the beginning of installing the firewall and installing the Squid proxy and then the SquidGuard and then creating the blacklist and using the category blacklist. In this video we will do another thing. We will make an integration between the Squid proxy and the SquidGuard. Both will be integrated with the Active Directory for authentication, which means that in the previous videos we can block websites and we can make proxy caching to all of the users in the domain. But for example, if we need to block certain websites to certain Active Directory groups or certain users in the Active Directory, so this will not be done until we integrate the Squid proxy and the SquidGuard with the Active Directory through something called LDAP authentication integration. Okay, so we'll see how this is done through this video, how we can integrate the Squid proxy and the SquidGuard to make authentication through the Active Directory LDAP. Okay, so let's begin. Here I am powering on the firewall. So here we can see there is an error. The error was the file system. I think it is with the boot files in the firewall system. This is, as I said before, it's using a Linux distro called FreeBSD version 10. So there is a problem with the file system. Okay, so I googled the error and I tried first to shut down the firewall and then restarting it and opening it back, but still the error persists. So I have searched the internet and found the solution. The solution is to make something like fixing. It's a command in the Linux to fix the file system boot files and recover it. You will see now in a moment what is the command line or what is the command to be to run to fix the problem, but actually I'm just troubleshooting first. I have two errors appeared for me when since installing Pfsense. One of them was the swap page. As I said before, this is related to the RAM. You need to increase the RAM not to have the error for the swap page to appear. Please see my previous video for the error syntax. Okay, as I said before, when the RAM is the swap file, basically it's like taking a part of the local hard disk from the firewall and using it as a RAM. When the physical RAM is fully used, it will begin working with the swap file. So my previous video, there was an error with the swap file, so when I search it to the Google, it says that your RAM is need to be increased, and actually this is correct. I have increased the RAM, and since that it appeared only once for me and then didn't appear again. So as you see here that we have a problem. It says segmentation fault. This is the file or this is the error. I will let you see the steps of troubleshooting it. I'm just going to Google and Google the error. So here I will get a little bit further. Okay, this is how I fix the error. This is the website. Okay, but I think this is not here you have to go to show the steps. You have to boot the firewall and access the single mode user. Okay, and then begin typing the commands, the following commands or the upcoming commands, but just wait for a minute. I tried to type the command but it didn't work, so let me do you something. Yeah, first we need to restart the firewall and go to the single user mode. Just a minute, and then we will this command, it just checks the boot files. Okay, cat, I think this is for typing. FTSB, this is the place where the boot files or the system boot files are reserved, or it is there. I have some Linux, studied some Linux courses. And FSTB, this is for the location of the booting files, or the mounting, sorry, this is the location of the mounting of the file systems. Okay, so just after that you will go there and we will know the location, or we know where the file system files are located, which is corrupted. By the way, this is the problem. We will type this command in the Linux command prompt to see where the file system mount files are. Okay, and then we will type a command to fix this file system boot files. Okay, this is the one, fs. This will check the file system. The following command, this is fsxc. This is the file command, the command that will fix the boot files or the file system files. So we need first to go to the single mode. We will restart the firewall and then access the single mode, and then we will type a command to show us the location of the file systems, /cat/ect/fstab, and then after we know where is the file boot or the file system located and their name, we will fix them by the command fsck. We will see that now in a moment. So here it is the command to show for us or display the location of the system files. We will I don't have here copy and paste. I can type it manually, but there is a way to just open the VM and edit and paste, but we will see that in a moment how we can paste the command without typing it. This is the command cat/x/ftb. This is the command to show us where the file system boot files are located. Here we can see that this is the problem with this boot file. Okay, div_u_vsd, this is the file is corrupted. Okay, this is the error that says here, it says trying to mount UFS. This is the problem with this file system or the boot file system. So we will try to fix this this file. I'm trying to make two windows, or making the two windows side by side or cascade, so I can see, or I can type it. We can copy, and then here, because the VMware tools is not installed, it is not supported on the free BSD system. So we will go to edit and paste. Here is the command, but first there is a problem. The location is not correct. We need to change this to this one. Okay, so because there is no such file, so we need to get this location. The following command should be fsck-yf/dev/uvsd / all of this number. So this is good practice to know how to fix some problems with the firewall. Actually, I think this happened because there is no integration between the VMware workstation and the FreeBSD system. I have every time to shut the firewall, I need to do it the hard way. Okay, from this button, and this is not correct. You need to shut it down by command, or to have a GUI button to do this, but doing it from this this icon is like shutting down the PC from the power button. Okay, so this, I think, corrupted the file systems, but actually I was careful. The next time I took a backup or a snapshot from the firewall, so if this happened, I can return back to the snapshot. So I think also this is better for you if you have a virtual machine. Take regular snapshots after every critical change in the system. Okay, so now we have done the file system. It had done the repairs. So we need the file that is repaired. Okay, it's fragmented, and it say that you have already repaired the system. So we need now to restart the firewall. Actually, this solved the problem. So I need to show you something, guys. Sorry, you have a minute. We'll go a couple of minutes here. So here, guys, to enter the first step for going to the command prompt of the firewall, we need to click on number 2. Okay, click on number 2 to boot in single user mode, and then go and begin typing the commands that we have done for a couple of seconds. Okay, so we have to go to this menu, type 2, and then we will go to the command prompt, type this one to see where the file system files are, and then begin the repairing. So we have done all of this. Sorry. So now after that we will reboot the system just to make sure everything is working correctly. So we type reboot to reboot the firewall. I will put the documentation for fixing the problem in the transformers folder, which will be under the description of the video. I put it on a Google Drive link, so you can see the documentation how to solve the problem as a future reference. So now we can see that when we rebooted the firewall, it's worked correctly and began loading the files and the configuration. It will take a little bit of time for the firewall to boot. Now it is booted normally and we can see all of the configuration is correct. So now we can continue our what I'm doing right now, I'm printing this documentation or as a PDF. I will save it as a PDF, as I said before, in the transformers folder, which I will share it with you under the description of the video as a Google Drive link. Okay, so here we can see the location, and I prefer everything I work with to be saved as a PDF, okay, or transform it to a PDF file so we can work with it later. Okay, so here now we will begin our main objective of the lab is to integrate the Squid proxy and the SquidGuard with the Active Directory, or to authenticate with the Active Directory, so we can begin applying some block lists to block certain users in the Active Directory or certain Active Directory groups to see certain websites or not. For example, you need the accounting, for example, group to see some websites and the IT group to see another sites. For example, you need to block some websites from the accounting and block different block sites to another front office. For the purpose of office team, you need, for example, to close the Facebook and etc. For example, for the accounting, you need to close the news, for example. We will see how the integration will be done and how we can block from the Squid proxy or the SquidGuard, block certain websites to certain Active Directory users or certain Active Directory groups. Actually, we will work with the Active Directory groups. We don't work, when we work in production environment, you work with groups, not with users. So here we can see from the previous lab I have made a group, a block group, a category block list for the news. So now it's working. The CNN is not working. I said before it wasn't working before this block group or block blacklist group because the SSL inspection was not active. So after I have activated it again, now the blocking list is working. Please return to my previous video to see more details. Okay, so now we will access the firewall and begin the integration process. So let's pause it a little bit. Okay, so now first of all I need to do some changes, not some changes. When I first created the Active Directory security groups, I have created 3 groups, okay, and as follows. First, I have created a group called TR Internet Admin Group, and then TR Internet Advanced Group, and then TR Internet Moderate Group, and then TR Internet Basic Group. Each group of them is for certain users. For example, for Internet TR underscore Internet Admin, let's have a look here. So here there is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is 4 groups for the internet access. For example, the TR Internet Admin, this group has full access to all the internet. I mean, that doesn't have anything blocked to it. Internet Advanced, this is for more restrictive. I mean, it opens most websites, but for example blocks the download and the VPN sites. For the internet basics, this blocks the Facebook and multimedia and the news and everything. This is for the basic users. And the moderate, it is like between the advanced and the basic. This is for moderate users. Every one of them is a group that we will use after the integration between the Squid proxy and the Squid guard with the Active Directory. Each group will have certain websites to block and certain websites to allow. This is the highest one, Internet Admin. This all websites are allowed. The second is less. This is number 2. It will contain most websites, but some websites will be blocked. And this is the more or the most restrictive one. It will contain a lot of websites blocked. And this is the third one, or this is the third one. If we can take it, this is the first one. All websites are opened. This is the second, or more restrictive. This is the second one, and this the third one, internet mode. This is the more restrictive, and number 4 is the most restrictive one. We will use these 4 groups to control how all of our domain users have access to internet. For example, we will put in the TR underscore IT, the group of IT here. We'll put it in the Internet Admin so we can have full access to internet. And for example, we will put the cleaning group and the construction group in the basic internet group, so you have only basic access to internet websites. Okay, and for example, we can put the advanced users group here in the Internet Advanced. They will have more access to the internet than the basic group. And then the moderate, we can, for example, take the medic group to put it in the Internet Moderate. Okay, this is the 4 groups that will control the internet access for all of the users in our domain. Okay, so here I'm just putting, For example, as I said before, here members, I will put the IT in the internet admin. This is good that you have you can control the internet access with these groups. This is also a best practice in any production environment to have this kind of groups. So here in the advanced group I will add, for example, the medic group. As I said before, TR is the abbreviation of transformers. So here, for example, in the basic I will add the construction team and the cleaning team to the basic, which will be the least or the more restrictive group. Will have only access to basic websites. Everything is blocked for this website except for some basic websites. Okay, for the moderate it's less restrictive than the basic, but it's not like the internet advanced. It's something between both, between the basic and between the advanced. Okay, so now we have done, or we have our internet access groups ready. So now we will begin the integration, because we will use these groups in the Pfsense after the integration between the Squid proxy and the SquidGuard. Between these two, after these two are integrated with the Active Directory. As I said before, it doesn't mean that when in previous video we have integrated the Pfsense with the whole Pfsense Firewall with the Active Directory, this doesn't mean that the Squid proxy and the SquidGuard is integrated. They have different, or we have separate integration process. If you can return to my previous videos, you will see that we have before integrated the firewall with the Active Directory to be able to integrate the here we have, I have just already as I said before, to solve the problem for the HTTPS websites, I have already disabled the transparent HTTP website. Let's, for example, open for a second. I was talking that before we have a problem with the HTTPS websites. As I said before, the problem is with the transparent HTTP proxy. We will disable this option, and then we can enable after that the SSL inspection normally, and then we will put the proxy setting for the SquidGuard in every, the Squid proxy in every setting in the browser, and I show you before how to do this in the previous video. As I said before, doesn't mean when we integrate the firewall with the Active Directory, it doesn't mean that the SquidGuard and the Squid proxy are integrated as well. In a previous video we have integrated the firewall with the Active Directory to be able to use my Active Directory user account to access the firewall. Okay, this is completely a different process from integrating the Squid proxy and the SquidGuard with the Active Directory. So differentiate between them. Okay, so now we have disabled the transparent proxy option. Now we go to the authentication in the Squid proxy, and here we will use the LDAP, and then this is to integrate with the Active Directory. Here we will put the IP address of the first domain controller, which is this one, which we are currently on. This is the first domain controller, and we will leave the authentication server port blank, and then here we will begin putting the Active Directory setting. So here I think I will begin searching the internet, because as I said before, there is not an easy way to configure the Squid proxy and the SquidGuard. It's a little bit complicated, so I prefer, if you are in a production environment, not to use these solutions. We can use a FortiGate or use the Sophos, because actually it's a little bit complicated and it have some problems. So here you can see that I am searching the internet to how to configure the LDAP authentication. Let's go a little bit further. Okay, go a little bit again. Okay, let's go here. So here I have found a way to configure the, here we go, I have a website, okay, and I've also this I will put in the, let's see here for a moment, I have put this to this picture, I will put it in also the transformers folder so we can all see it. Here is the configuration for the LDAP. We will make it 7, the L3, the LDAP version, and then we will put this is the location of the users, okay. For example, here he says that this is the Active Directory user that will be used to authenticate the users to the Squid proxy and the SquidGuard. For example, you remember when we have installed the firewall, we have made Active Directory user called Pfsense, okay, to integrate the firewall with the Active Directory. So we will here also to integrate the SquidGuard and Squid proxy with the Active Directory, we need to have a user to be used for the authentication. So here we will use the same Pfsense user we have created before to authenticate the users to the Squid proxy and the SquidGuard. Here is the user that will be used for authentication and the password, and then in this base domain, this is the location where all of the users of Active Directory are there. Okay, for example, I have all of my users is under OU organization unit called AI users, under Cybertron and company it's transformers.local. Okay, this is the location of the users of the Active Directory. So the first one is for the user that will authenticate the Active Directory users to the firewall. Okay, this is the one, and this is the location of the organization unit of the Active Directory users. Okay, and here the attribute, it is the how it will be authenticated to the proxy, Squid proxy and the SquidGuard. It will be authenticated with the SAM account, with your account. For example, if Kira off, it will be, this is how it will be authenticated, with the user name. So the proxy Squid or the Squid proxy or the SquidGuard will be authenticated, or you will be authenticated to the SquidGuard or Squid proxy with the SAM account. Kira off, for example, this is called SAM account. And here the search filter, here it says that when the Squid proxy or the SquidGuard try to search the user's OU, he will search with the SAM account. Okay, this is basically what is said. So here we'll put the LDAP version, and then the user that will be used for authentication, the password for this user, the location of the user's Active Directory OU or organization unit, and how the authentication will be done. It will be done with the SAM account, as I said before, Kira off. This is called SAM account. Okay, and how the SquidGuard will search this OU, it will be searched with the SAM account. Okay, it's user class, it means that it is user. Okay, it will search with this is SAM account. He will search for user, not computers, not everything. So here are the search and configuration for the LDAP. It is the Squid authentication LDAP setting. Okay, the version of the LDAP, the user that we used for authentication, the password for this user, the organization unit for the Active Directory users, the way it will authenticate. It will be authenticated with the SAM account, and the SAM account, this SAM account, it is a user, not a computer, not anything. So this is basically what this setting means. As I said before, after also doing all of this configuration, it didn't work actually, because there is another step to be done from the SquidGuard side. We will see that in a moment. So as I said before, it's a little bit complicated to configure this Squid proxy authentication setting, and also for the SquidGuard. We will see that in a moment. So here we will begin configuring it. Okay, and here we will use the Pfsense, the user that we have created before in the previous video, three or four previous videos, when we authenticated or we used the Pfsense user. Okay, it's Pfsense service account, if you can remember with me the previous video. So here I will open again tools and then ADSI edit to get the full pass for the user, for the user of Pfsense. You will see that now. Bear with me. Okay, we will open, and here is the user that will be used for authentication. It's Pfsense service account. We will use this account, okay, to authenticate. Sorry. So here we'll click properties, and we will get this. So we'll copy this full location and put it in the setting of the firewall. So we are it will be correct, okay, because you have to type it in the LDAP format. Okay, this is the correct one. We will put the password. As I said before, this is the user that will be responsible for authenticating the Active Directory users to the Squid proxy and the SquidGuard. So here we will begin working with the LDAP base domain. Here this is the location of all of our Active Directory users. We will see how this is done from the Active Directory. Here we have all of our users in this one. It's AI users. This contains all of our Active Directory users. Okay, so we'll click properties, and then we will go to the distinguish name, and then view, and then we will copy this location or this format and put it in the LDAP base domain. Okay, as I said before, the username, or it will authenticate with the SAM account, which is the user name, which is K-Raouf or whatsoever. This is the way it will authenticate. The Active Directory will authenticate to the user will be authenticated to the Squid proxy and the SquidGuard with the SAM account. Here we will begin. I'm just trying to copy the setting. Okay, here this is another one. We'll put here the SAM account. As I said before, this setting will not work. Okay, there is some tips and tweaks to be done. So here we will save the setting. So now we will go to the configuration of the SquidGuard. We have done the Squid proxy configuration. There is another configuration to be done from the SquidGuard. Here we will make a new group. This is where we will do the we will put the group of the Active Directory. Here I am just unchecking everything, okay, because here we will, from the proxy or the SquidGuard, we will begin making saying, for example, we need the TR_ Internet Advanced group in the Active Directory to access certain websites. So this will be done through the group ACL option. Here I'm just unchecking everything. Here we'll make you need to uncheck everything before beginning configuring a new block list. So here also I will go to the block category I have done before. Okay, now we will make a group ACL. Here we will type the name of the Active Directory. Here for example I make a policy for the Internet Advanced group. This is the one that we have done a couple of minutes ago. Okay, and then we will put the name of, here where is the problem appears in the client source. I thought I need to put the name of the Active Directory group in the client source, but this was different. We need to put another different setting. You will see that in a moment. Okay, sorry, I'm just searching. Get a minute here. Sorry. So here we can see that it says here if you are integrating with the Active Directory, you need to put in the search field this type of format. We have done another format, actually a different one, so we need to change it. And if you put a username, you have to put it like this in between quotas. If you have not a group, you need to block a certain user, you need to put it between quotas. but here it didn't say something about blocking a group Active Directory. Here it said about blocking a normal user in the Active Directory. But I need to block a certain Active Directory group, and this is this LDAP search setting. We need to put it in the general setting in the Squid proxy. Okay, as you know that the Squid proxy and the SquidGuard are integrated. Okay, so we need to change the LDAP search, and let's see how this is done. Actually, this is the problem here. So we can here block by user, not by group, and here he will put the what we need to block. We have two types or two columns. This is the one. Let me get a little bit back further. Here in the target, here we have something called time. Time here, for example, if you need the block list to be working for example, from a certain time to a certain time, maybe from the working hours from 5 to 10, and then after this time the target rule or the block lure will not be valid anymore or will not be applied. So we can do this through the time. We need to define a time for this block group to work or block list to work, and then here from the target rule list we will have two. Here this is the websites you need to block, and then after the time is finished that you define for the block list to work. Here, for example, I need, for example, to block the alcohol or maybe to block the social media. Okay, now after the working hours or the hours I defined here is finished, I will make it allow. So he'll make deny at this category, and at the working hours will make it allow. So to allow it after a certain time we have defined in this field. And also we need to enable this option. As I said before, we need also to enable this option to enable authentication between the SquidGuard and the Active Directory. So we need to make here to make from the groups SEL a block list, a new block list, and put the Active Directory user group in it. Okay, and then to enable this feature. Okay, and then in the groups SEL we will define the group that will work with the blocking list. For example, here we will make Internet Advance a group called Internet Advance, and we will block, for example, the social media and this group. Okay, to make this valid we need to enable this option in the general setting, enable options for setup LDAP connection to create filters. We need to do this, and we'll put the authenticate, also the user that will be used for authentication between the Squid proxy and SquidGuard to the Active Directory, the Pfsense service account that we have done in the Squid proxy, and the password. So as we see, we have two configurations, one for the Squid proxy and one for the SquidGuard. I'm just going to the authentication to copy the user account that we used for authentication, this one. We will click on enable, and then we will put the user and then the password. and then we will save the setting. So now we will create our group block list. We'll go and finish our block list. We will make, as I said before, we will make a block list for the advanced internet advanced group. I will go a little bit further. Okay, here we go, and then we will put, I thought that putting the Active Directory group here will be enough, and then it is authenticated and it will work, but actually I was wrong. This will not work, and we'll see why it will not work. Here we will identify the block that we need. For example, I need to block the porn. Okay, here, and also during the working or off time after the time finish. Okay, here we will block alcohol, for example, also. We will deny the VPN. This is some programs that is used to overcome the proxy, so it can open the internet. It's called VPN gateways. Okay, this is used by some users to overcome the proxy block policies. Okay, so we make deny, and then we need to make sure that, just a minute here, we need to make sure that the default access rule is allow. Okay, just make sure the default access rule is allow in the target rule list. Okay, here just for a moment, here you need to make sure that this is allowed, because if it is denied it will block all after it. You need to make it allow, and then he will begin seeing after the allow if there is a block in something, it will begin working. Just a minute. So let's continue our lab. Here we will continue. Okay, full screen. So here we will save, and we will try to test this block list and see if it will work. As I said before, there is a problem in the setting of the LDAP search, but we will see this in the next video how this is fixed. But here now we will try to see if it will work. Here, for example, says that the name of the block list should not contain special characters, or it have to be from 2 to 6 characters to 16 characters only. So we'll make it small, HTR advance, and save. So here we have, after every change we need to go to the general setting and click apply. We need to make sure that the old rules, or the old lists that we have done before, block lists we have done before, all of them are it doesn't have any configuration. Okay, So here I think we should begin testing this block rule. So we need to have a user from the TR Internet Advanced group. We need to have one user from this group and test the block rules with it. So we'll see now. We will see if this is blocked or not, but we need it to be done from another machine. We will see that now in a moment. First, I am making sure that the old block list rules is not working anymore. So you will see that the CNN is working normally. Here we have a little bit of a note I need to make sure. After disabling the transparent proxy HTTP, so I said before, this is because you don't have to go to every user browser to put the proxy setting. When this option is enabled, you don't have to put the proxy IP and the port in every browser on every client PC. Okay, as I said before, this option has a lot of problems, so we disable it. So let's have a scenario that you have disabled this option and you didn't put the proxy setting to the client. Will the client be able to access the internet? Yes. This is a very big issue with the Squid proxy. Normally, if you have a normal proxy server and you didn't put the setting of the proxy server in the client, he will not be able to access the internet. But in this Squid option or Squid proxy, if you didn't put, after disabling the transparent HTTP proxy option is disabled, if you forget to put the proxy setting to the browser to the client, he will be able to access the internet. So this can be fixed by making a group policy to put certain proxy setting to all of the browsers for the client and to prevent him from changing the proxy setting. This will be done through a group policy. We will see in next video or the upcoming videos how to do this. So here we will see a user. Here is okay. Here is the way that we can. Here we will make a group policy, okay, and to put the internet, the proxy setting to the users in their browser. This is for the Internet Explorer. This is the way to do it. We will do it in a couple of minutes. And how to prevent or to make prevent the user from changing the proxy setting. So we'll have two things to do. First, to put the proxy setting, the group policy will put the proxy setting to the browsers of the user or the client, and then another group policy to prevent him from changing this proxy setting. As I said before, if the proxy setting is not put to the client browser after disabling transparent HTTP proxy setting, he will pass, okay, to the internet normally without any problems. So we will open let me see what I am doing here. I am opening the firewall again, I think. I thought that I can test the authentication through the diagnostic, but this wasn't the issue. So we will will do this group policy in the next video. So until we meet again, thank you so much for your thank you for viewing. Let's say this, they say this in the video. Thank you for viewing.